Last year, I made this video about the Miyawaki method of planting trees, and although it's only been 1 year, I wanted to make a quick update video to show you how my Miyawaki plantation is doing, because actually quite a lot has been going on. I'm currently standing in the small circular Miyawaki plantation that you saw me make in that video. However, just after I made the video, I doubled down on my efforts, and that tiny little circle grew to become a 600 square meter Miyawaki plantation with 1,500 native Irish trees across 14 species. And believe it or not, I did that twice. If you're not sure what the Miyawaki method is, you'll need to watch my previous video because I go through it all there in great detail. However, in this video, I'll defer to my younger self to explain the most important elements of the Miyawaki method. Locally collected and grown trees would then be planted at a density of 3 to 5 trees per square meter, as opposed to the traditional method of 1 tree to every 1 to 2 square meters. And that is a key differentiator between the Miyawaki and the traditional method of planting, is the Miyawaki's high density. And the result is a mini forest that can grow up to 10 times faster, is 30% denser, importantly for me, is 100 times more biodiverse, and is 100% native. As you can see, the trees are doing really well. All 14 species seem to be thriving, and I will detail what those 14 species are a little bit later. But in this video, I want to talk about how I went about planting this many trees, and also how I give them a bit of a helping hand, because although it's difficult when you have this many trees and at this scale, there are things you can do that are essential, because in the first 3 to 5 years of growth, trees need a bit of a helping hand. You can't just leave them to their own devices the whole way through the year, but especially in midsummer when the grass starts to get really long. But remember, my end goal here is biodiversity. I'm managing my 5 acres here in the east of Ireland for Irish nature, and that's what attracted me to the Miyawaki method. My goal is to expand this native Irish hedgerow behind me outwards to create a small woodland habitat where invertebrates and mammals and birds can come and feed and nest and thrive. So that is the important thing for me, and it's the main reason that I went about planting this in the first place. Although I visited a couple of small Miyawaki plantations while doing research for my first one, I wanted to see what a large scale Miyawaki plantation looks like in Ireland before I hugely expanded my own one. And luckily, I found not only a big one, but the biggest one in Ireland, only a short drive away from me here in County Wicklow. I went to visit this huge Miyawaki plantation, 10,500 metres squared. It was planted by Satwinder from EcoSeek Ireland and Garode from Reforest Nation, who joined forces along with all their volunteers to plant this woodland over a 2-year period, and they plan on adding to it every year. I'm super excited about where we are right now here. This, as far as I've heard, is the largest Miyawaki plantation in, I want to say, Europe. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah. Not just Ireland, but in the whole of Europe. It's 40,000 trees strong so far.
40,000 trees. Any idea what the second biggest in Europe is?
The second biggest is in London, 28,000 trees.
Really?
Yeah, so
28,000. So you're nearly double that.
Almost double that. And we're going to keep expanding it over time.
That's incredible. And tell me, how long ago did you plant it?
So the first planting happened in 2023, I'd say, yeah, 2023. And we've been planting here consecutively the last couple of years.
That's incredible growth for that amount of time.
And these trees here were only planted last year. The
wow.
ones directly around us.
This is one of the first Miyawaki forest,
that you did.
we did it actually in Limerick.
In Limerick probably was one of the first in Ireland, like truly Miyawaki.
Yeah.
It definitely was one of the first, yeah.
Okay, incredible.
And the growth has been amazing. It's something to be seen.
And that's what's happening here. All these trees are competing with each other for the light. They're growing quickly. It's a diverse mix like in a natural forest, where they're not just competing, they're also collaborating with each other through the root systems. The roots are interconnecting. They're sharing nutrients with each other. If one tree is sick, the other trees will support it. And it's basically growing as one ecosystem rather than individual trees, which is kind of what you get conventionally.
Are you only planting Miyawaki forests with reforestation?
No, we plant lots of different styles of forest. I would say the Miyawaki is probably the best in terms of quality, but there are still merits to planting in different ways. Like obviously if you're planting a large area, there's definitely merit to maybe not going full Miyawaki. It's about finding a balance, and we're also experimenting. We have a lot of cool ideas about future methods that we can try out to see if we can use some Miyawaki principles, but covering huge areas rather than just little city centers.
Okay.
And so it definitely has great merit, but also I can understand why people might want to spread out lots of trees over a bigger area.
Yeah.
The debt rate will be higher, but in a way you could say it's more efficient. But I would say that the case for Miyawaki is quality over quantity. Would you rather a forest where half the trees die and it takes maybe 100 years to reach the same level that it might take a Miyawaki maybe 10 years to reach, with a much higher survival rate and biodiversity? And so that's really the merit for Miyawaki. And people often think Miyawaki is quite a new phenomenon. It has become very popular, but the first Miyawaki forests were planted almost 50 years ago in Japan. And you can see that the actual forests, the old forests, and how they've developed and how they've become very biodiverse. And so
inspired by what the guys had achieved with their huge plantation, I set about trying to figure out how I can do my own one and how I was going to find the 3,000 trees needed to do so. I reached out to the 100 Million Trees project, which was founded by the Mulcahy siblings with the big ambition of planting 100 million trees across Ireland, and they recently planted their millionth, but they're always looking for land to do so, and when they heard that I had some, they were happy to send me the trees. However, they did have the prerequisite that I prepare the land in advance, and that required cutting back the grass and also tilling the field, which I did with my father. And it was necessary because when we're setting about trying to plant over 1,000 trees in a single weekend, to work at pace, we needed to have the soil loose and ready to receive the trees. Once the site was ready, we luckily got a lovely sunny day to plant the trees. The 100 Million Trees project sent people to help us. We also had some friends and family and volunteers to help chip in planting all the trees. The species that we're planting are both species of Irish oak, alder, silver birch and downy birch, Scots pine, spindle, wild cherry, European bird cherry, blackthorn, dog rose, gelder rose, crabapple, rowan, hawthorn and hazel. We planted the faster growing, more shrub-like trees such as hawthorn, blackthorn and spindle in between the larger, slower growing trees like Scots pine, oak and alder. The Scots pine, oak, alder and other trees like that we would keep at a distance of over 2 meters. This would give them a chance not to impede on each other as they grew to their great heights. The second site though needed to be treated a little differently. As you can see, it's surrounded by a river, and so the soil is much damper. So I made the decision not to plant any oak or Scots pine, and instead I planted much more alder and hazel. The reason I planted more alder is simply because alder is a big drinking tree and it enjoys wet soil. And it's naturally growing in many of the places around the riverbanks here. With the hazel, I decided I wanted a hazel coppice as a form of management for the densely planted Miyawaki. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. In their first 3 to 5 years, plantations like this need some assistance, but when there are over 3,000 trees across a quarter of an acre, really all that you can do is trample the grass. And that's what I'm doing here, and I do every single week across both of the sites. It may not seem like much, but if you think about it, when you regularly walk the same path along a piece of grass, that grass eventually reduces down. And it's the same theory here. By standing on the grass on a regular basis, I reduce its growth rate very slightly and enough to allow the trees to protrude and grow through. So I'm doing some grass trampling now, and obviously there's not much technique to it, but I will show you what I do. I just basically hold on to the tree, to the young tree, to make sure that I don't accidentally step on it, and then I just work my way around. But at this time of year, in April, it's really important to do this as much as possible on a regular basis because the grass is really kicking into gear and it's obviously growing much faster than the trees are, but also the trees are all at different heights. So, and all coming into leaf now as well. So you can see this alder is just starting to come into leaf, but it's a really, really nice height, as is this one over here. It's really tall and proud, and I'll easily be able to see it through the whole summer over the grass. However, if you look over here, you can see that there are smaller species like hawthorn, which are only just above the grass now, but the grass will easily grow taller than it. So now is the time that I'll be able to see it. I'll be able to do my trampling now to give it a helping hand, but because I'm doing it this week, next week the grass will already be trampled, so I'll be able to see it. But if I just let it go, the grass will get too high and I won't even be able to risk coming into the plantation to look for trees for fear of standing on them. So here is last year and this is this year. It's only 1 year of growth, but the trees are doing really, really well. I'm delighted by how healthy they look, and I'll continue my regular grass trampling for as long as needs be. However, my site is a bit unusual because I do actually live on the site. I look out and I see these trees every day, so I'm able to keep an extra eye on them. If I see trees encroaching on each other too much, perhaps when they get a bit more mature, I might be able to make the decision to move a tree elsewhere on my land. So it's a bit unique in that sense, and that's especially true of the second site. The other thing that I'm considering doing for management is coppicing, and that's especially true of the second site and the reason that I planted so much hazel here. Hazel has a 6 to 8 year coppice, meaning that in 6 to 8 years the trees will be mature enough that I can cut them down and repurpose their wood elsewhere in the land, perhaps for fencing. But where the tree once stood, a new tree will start to grow, and that is important for woodland health because it creates a second generation of trees coming up behind the more mature ones, meaning that all the trees are not the same age in a woodland, and that is really important for the future generation of that woodland's health. I hope you've enjoyed this little update about my Miyawaki video. It's only been 1 year, but I do plan on documenting it more and more throughout the years to come as life starts to move into it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next REWILDLIFE.